Well, welcome back to another video, and thank you so much on the last Cosworth video for all the useful comments down below. I read them all, replied to, I believe, most of them, and yeah, I'm going to very much take your advice. The bonnet and the boot we are going to send off to the body shop, and they're going to do the paint and touch up there.
Release, that was until I received a quote of £300 per panel and an estimated cost of £1,500 all in. Considering for the Aston I was quoted £2,000 and it ended up costing me £4,150, you'll see later in the video I decided to take matters into my own hands and right my wrongs. But we'll get to that. Now it's time to get the car MOT ready, and we start off with a slow oil leak which has been there ever since I bought the car. Admittedly, I thought the issue was going to be a leak from the gasket of the sump, but I've dried it all off and I've left it for a couple of days now. And as you can see, I think our culprit is actually the sump plug. I do remember when I did this that it was missing the washer, it was missing the washer, that's right. So it was missing the washer, so what I've done is I've actually ordered another one on eBay, the actual plug and the washer, and that was £6. So wait for that to arrive, and then that should stop our little leaking issue here. And I also want to get our brand new refurbed alloys onto the car as well, get rid of those other ones. They don't suit the RS Cosworth style, so we've got the original lattice alloys, which is period correct for the 1990 models. So first up, let's get these on. And whilst the car is up in the air, before I get it back down to change the wheels, I thought I might as well show you the result of the landing guard, because I'm personally really happy with it. Alrighty, well, as you can see, if we come under the car, it immediately looks a lot more black. There's no sort of surface rust. Well, there's a little bit, obviously, like if you look closely here, and stuff like that, but as we come back towards the back anyway, this is where I remember it best. This was completely orange. It's now a really nice black. So it's obviously reacted to the rust quite nicely, and it's giving it this extra layer of protection. So on the whole, it now looks pretty good at the back here. I mean, for a 33-year-old car, I think this looks pretty solid now. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you that, but let's get it down, let's get the new alloys on. So I'm starting off by applying some WD-40 around the bolts just to help free them up a bit. I did also have a bad back at the time, so I tried to do the twist locks whilst the wheel was up in the air and free to spin, but you'll see it didn't take me too long until I gave up on this. I mean, who needs a back anyway? Whilst I had the wheels off, I did take the chance just to inspect the brake pads and disc a bit more closely, and you'll see later on why I'm glad I did.
Well, immediately that looks so much better. I'm gonna wait till it's on the ground to talk it off, but yeah, that looks brilliant. Very happy with that. I mean, I can see it on the other alloy now. Let me show you actually. We have a look down there. See how the 16s are just a bit wider and they just stick out a little bit. Whereas this, 15's a bit smaller, not as wide as well. Looks so much more mean. Well, I don't know, that just sort of seems almost boy racer-esque. Whereas this looks like a classy classic.
Boosted by this, I cracked on with the other three alloys with the car now back on the ground, which my back was definitely not thankful for. Again, I'm being sure to check the pads, and on this occasion, they're
getting a bit low.
So these will need changing for the MOT. However, moving on to the wheels at the rear, this was a lot more of a shock.
There is nothing on that whatsoever. Jesus.
As you can see, I've never seen it that bare before. There's literally no pad on that left. So yeah, you're gonna have to be very careful with that, because yeah, that needs sorting out.
Well, yeah, they're gonna get changed, and the front ones, they're legal, but they're only just legal. So we're also gonna get those changed. So gonna get the mechanic to do cam belt next week, and then change all brake pads as well. And that should help anyway. That should get us a lot more roadworthy. But right now, that's not passing an MOT like that. There is literally nothing on there.
On that note, whilst putting on the alloy, I had a thought.
Well, it's an interesting point actually, just thinking about it, about that brake caliper, is I've done not even a mile in this car since the last MOT. Maybe two, just sort of driving around the block trying to test for misfires and stuff like that. But this passed its MOT without any advisories last time, so I've got a feeling that was a bent MOT. Food for thought? Well, I accidentally forgot to film that last one, but that was just the same process as the others, but yeah, wow, this looks so much better on this car than the previous alloys, so really happy with this. And the finish is actually looking really good where I've redone. So on the whole, pretty good, but let me get this down, torque it off, and then give you a proper show.
The brakes being MIA just adds to a list of reasons I think this car was not MOT'd properly, and it was getting a bit frustrating. It seems the more I look, the more skeletons I'd find, and of course, I don't want to sell it with said skeletons, so any issues I pick up are being replaced. All receipts, invoices, they'll be kept too, but it's becoming quite a list.
Now it goes without saying, some of these do need a bit of air, but look at that. How much better do they look? Wow. I'm not gonna lie, seeing the alloys like this makes me appreciate this car so much more. How much better does this look? I mean, why does the first person ever change this in the first place? It looks so much better with the original alloys. Now, the indicators aren't currently working, at least on the dash, so I suspect a fuse has blown, so gonna check those right now.
To test the fuse, I'm just using a multimeter to test for continuity, and all fuses were good. As you can see here though, the side repeater is working, but not at the headlight, so I think the bulb is toast and we'll need to change this, as well as the rear indicator on the passenger side, which was also toast. Moving on, you can see there's some terrible lack of peel on this mirror, and it's the same tail with the other one. The plan here was to wet sand it flat, then look to respray it, and the quote from the body shop for the mirrors was £150 each, which just seems extortionate to me, so I'm doing it myself.
Oh, it's nice and smooth now. Boom. Yeah.
And well, this is the result. This feels completely smooth to the touch now, so I'm confident with a layer of, a couple of coats of primer, we're going to get a really nice finish on this, and obviously it is all covered, so we're good to go. Anyway, let's do it. As I had a spray can of the correct colour, I started with the smaller parts. I know using a can will trigger a few of you, even for a small part like this, but rest assured, I am currently watching endless videos on how to use a spray gun, and the bonnet, roof and boot will be done properly. Here, I'm also doing a spoiler as I figured the can would last as far, following the same process as before. Wet sand it, dry it off, and then get it ready with some primer. The recommendations I've seen online seem to suggest just 2 coats of primer, so that's exactly what I've done here.
Well, this has now had time to set, and from doing a bit of practice, this spray is, if you're anywhere too close, it just runs, so I'm going to take quite a far back stance almost where I'm spraying, and I'm just going to take it slow. If it has to take a few coats to cover it, then fine. It should improve the finish anyway, that's what I'm going for.
Whilst this is sped up for the time lapse, I am actually taking my time here to cover the mirror, just trying to do my best to avoid any runs. I'm in a cold warehouse, so this is all too easy to do.
Alright, well there you go, first coat on, and yeah, it looks like it's not running, so that's a good sign. And yeah, just got to let it dry for, I think it's 15 minutes for this. But I might do a bit longer anyway between coats. I just want to make sure it's properly dry before we reapply another coat on top. So maybe give it 20 to 25 minutes and then we'll get another coat on. And yeah, we'll keep going, keep moving.
I did the same process with the spoiler, and as the can was nearing the end, it did cause it to be a bit more of a peely result, but we can buff this out. Well, that's the first coat on the spoiler. And well, I'm actually pretty happy with how these are coming out. I mean, it's already looking quite clear. So after a polish, this is going to look tremendous, I think. I mean, looks really good. If I come round to the mirror, again, really nice, shiny finish. Oh. And then, of course, this one as well. I mean, I can actually already see my reflection. I mean, that's incredibly impressive. 4 coats of lacquer are down on the mirrors, so gonna let that dry. I've just got one final coat to do on the spoiler at the back, and then we're gonna let this dry overnight, and yeah, we'll catch back tomorrow and we'll see how it looks. But I think this is gonna look incredible. I'm genuinely quite chuffed with this. Catch you back tomorrow. Bye bye. You can see the mirror here. I think that looks really, really good. I'm really surprised by that. Looks great over there. Actually, the mirrors make almost the bonnet look really dull now. And that's, I guess, the slight worry is it's all fresh paint. Again, looking really, really nice. And the spoiler too. So I'll just come past it. This one's a little bit more peely, so I'm just going to have to sort that. But obviously, I'm going to be polishing it all anyway. But on the whole, how much better does this look than before? I mean, this has cost me 23 quid to correct these issues. It's a lot better than £1,500. I've got another tub on order for actually spraying the bonnet and the boot. That'll arrive soon. Well, early next week, I imagine. and that was £50 for the tub. So all in, I'm looking at sort of 80 quid to completely fix, well, right my wrongs, I suppose. So a lot cheaper than £1,500. The paint was nice and dry now, so it was safe to remove the paper and masking tape from the covered areas. You'll see the driver's mirror. I did get a bit of primer on the door trim before I realised there was a hole, but I'll get to that when I get round to restoring the trim. I am still waiting on that C4, by the way, to arrive, but thank you again for that recommendation. Oh, have a look there. How shiny that is. You can literally see, you can see my tripod, see my hand. That's the first time that has ever happened, that it's looked so clean from the outset.
I know I've said it already a few times, but yeah, absolutely chuffed with this. This looks brilliant. Oh, yes. So happy with that. It's interesting actually. This now looks so bland and plain, but I think that's why I'm gonna have to be super careful, to be honest, because if I do the bits on the top and that all matches, that's fine. But if, for instance, I only did one door, the other door is gonna stand out like a sore thumb because it's gonna be dull. One's gonna be dull, one's gonna be really bright. But I think if it's all on the top, that's fine. But on the sides, I just need to be very, very careful with how this looks. But yeah, so far, really happy with this. This looks terrific. Thumbs up from me to me. Hope you agree. Anyway, I'm just waiting now for the next tub of paint to arrive, and I'm just waiting for the boot lock as well. So the car is nearly there, other than obviously a very good clean and the bits of spray that we need to do. So today I'm actually going to be working on the Aston, which is over there and back from the paint shop. But yeah, just wanted to quickly show you the results, but this is going to be a seamless transition for you, but we're going to cut to next week now. Let's go. With this car, before we spray it, I want to get it back down I want to even take away the base coat. I want to get it back down to near enough the metal, or at least the sort of primer area. So yeah, just going to actually use a machine sander, sand it right down, and then yeah, we'll give it a good clean, get it nice and flush, ready for spraying. I'm kicking off with 150 grit before working my way down the grit ratings just to try and remove the paint, but also keep a nice smooth finish. The trickier parts I couldn't access with the machine, I just did by hand. Skipping on a few stages and having cleaned down the surface, I primed the bonnet with 3 coats, I believe it was. It's worth flagging at this point that I'm also working on the boot here too, but it's the exact same process. So rather than showing you 2 sets of time-lapse, I'll time-lapse the bonnet and then show the results of both at the end. So I have high hopes for this finish. It looks like it could be a lot better, and I think this might be the solution. No small blends, just redo the whole panel. That's what the body shop actually recommended as well. But anyway, I've got to let this dry for 24 hours now. I've also done the boot. So yeah, there isn't really much else for me to do now other than wait. I'm not going to watch paint dry. So that means it's time to end this video, but I really hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think the end result's going to be like. Do you think it's still going to be trash like it was before? Or do you think I might be onto something? Obviously, you've seen me redo the mirror, and that came out really nice. So did the spoiler. So yeah, I've got high hopes, but what do you think? Let me know down below. Also, whilst you're down there, if you're new, hit that subscribe button, and also hit us a like. Thank you very much. Bye bye.